Prior to COVID, 3GC was very focused on two things: is infrastructure. I mean, it didn't matter what it was, whether it was network systems or UC. We took a lot of pride in doing those projects really well. We had within our peers, some of the best engineers that we could tout. Our competition knew it, and so the ability of our team to execute on very complex projects was bar none at a very peak level. But those projects are very waterfall type projects, right? They're you scope them out, you figure it out, you scope them, and then you execute on them. We did that really well, but what's changed over time with COVID has been doing things in more of an agile fashion, because we don't. A lot of the times, our clients don't even know what the end goal is going to be, right? Because there's so much uncertainty in the world we live in. And so we've had to do things in such an agile fashion. And I think what 3GC has evolved into is really an infrastructure company that really gets all of IT and how to keep all of IT going and manage it not just from a day-to-day basis, but from a strategic basis. And so, I think there's so much that's going on in today's world where we need to be able to look at things from a business perspective. And so, really look forward to not just talking to clients about technology, but their business itself. And, would love to engage our clients at a deeper level.
Here at 3GC, especially with this 2020 like nightmare, we've been awesome at shifting focus at what we think our clients need, making sure that our clients embrace technology as they should, so that during 2020, they can survive this COVID, be able to go through digital transformation. And I feel like we did a good job shifting, our focuses and being able to come up with plans and programs that our clients can definitely benefit from, because we're thinking of it from a client perspective. We're not just sitting here recommending things just to recommend things. We're trying to help them get through this 2020. And I feel like because we're able to shift our focuses so quickly, that in 2021, this COVID might still be really rampant. We're able to help them grow. Our clients can grow with us. We're going to grow with them, help them tackle all these, things that have come up. And I feel like 2021, 2022 is going to be so great, where they can just look to us for all the help that they need.
Even in a short span of time that, COVID is new for everyone, but in that span of time, we've been able to provide a lot of solutions for what clients are looking for. And that means whether it's finding remote solutions for companies that were like, okay, now we have this remote workforce, how are we going to send large files back and forth? Please help us. What are your thoughts? On a flip side, we've also been able to help clients who need physical reassurance that are not going to be in remote situations, and being able to say, okay, I want to be able to key into this place, but I need to make sure that I've given accountability that I am not COVID positive. Like just the flip side of those two abilities for us to say, we can help you with remote, we can help you with like in-person stuff.
3GC and the personnel who work within it all serve to be trusted advocates for their particular clients, which is why we have the flexibility and the adaptability we have. Tools that we use allowed us to work remotely seamlessly for a very long time, a couple of years ahead of the schedule before we all got forced into this new virtual world. That's why I don't think it changed our culture that much, because we were already using tools that made it a seamless transition. Once we left the office, we missed the in-person camaraderie, but then we could also empathize with our clients who maybe hadn't made that transition. We've been working to get them there, to give them an opportunity to see what the ability to be flexible. Flexibility doesn't mean a lack of productivity, which I think is what everybody was mostly concerned with. But we didn't see a drop in either one of those things. We stayed flexible and we remained really productive, and we've had one of the best years we've ever had as a company because of it.
Now, 3GC. Here, I find I play problem solver, architect, and sometimes I lead a bit. And often I get to listen. So I listen and listen for problems. So yeah, things that have been interesting to me, as I said, finding root problems, communication is huge. And I think that that's particularly important. Communication and process. I've experienced at both startups and New York Stock Exchange polar opposites of process, where there was either not enough or perhaps too much. And finding and striking a balance between process, I think, is something that has to iterate. And it also can help with tools. And so I've also been a tool maker, and I love tool makers, so that we can make following process easier than not following process.
We all know that with the advent of COVID in 2020, within really a span of 4 to 6 weeks, the traditional brick and mortar offices, that model changed quite a bit because we went through a round of lockdowns where all of a sudden the requirement for infrastructure to support remote workforce came into play. Now, the biggest part of this is because of how quickly COVID hit. There were some HR changes with a lot of resources being followed and downsizing of staff, which also changed how they handled their day-to-day business. That's how we as a company come in with being able to provide fractional resources on our side to be able to cover for the staff through IT as a service and our flex block services. In addition to that, we've actually helped some of our clients be able to migrate some of those services to the cloud. What that means is, on our side is with the advent of being able to downsize your staff, we're able to come in and actually take over IT services fully or fractionally, and be able to allow you to keep the lights on at your site.
So all of these digital platforms going into 2021 and beyond, the primary focus is to make these platforms work together much more effectively. And I think we'll find increasingly companies looking to change their platforms from being large monolithic systems and moving into a much more agile set of siloed platforms that have great communication and data transfer between them in real time, very quickly, to be able to act on it. And then I think you're going to see great improvements in analytics. So the platforms that go above all of these individual platforms that give you this single pane of glass, so you can hone in on issues and opportunities much more quickly and be able to react to them much more quickly as well. There are significant pros and cons to telecommuting. There are, of course, significant pros and cons to being on site. But if the technology and operational workflow is done correctly, there really should be no difference at all. And in fact, you should be able to garner some savings from the fact that individuals are telecommuting. So there are a lot of advantages to look forward to in 2021. And I'm excited to be a part of that change.
From when I started with the company, and if someone were to tell me that, hey, there was this major change, I would have not noticed, because as I came on board, someone could have said this company's been 100% remote since its inception, and I wouldn't have been able to tell, because everyone's performing at a high level, and I think that's enabled by these remote tools such as Slack, Confluence, and email. That's always been traditional, but part of it's having these cloud-based tool sets that makes a remote office transition much more seamless. And again, I would have never known that this was a brick and mortar office based company unless someone had mentioned something.
With our products like iTiles or FlexBlocks, we can bring those best practices that myself or Bob or Dominic or Billy, our experiences at other companies, we can bring those practices, those best practices and services to our clients. And I think that's what really helps them, is pulling in, whether it's an SMB or SME or even an enterprise customer, we can pull in the knowledge that we have from other businesses and our other experience and apply that to the company. We also apply it internally as well, helping to sharpen our own, sharpen the blade, sharpen the tool to be better at doing things internally as well within 3GC and within PandoBlocks.
And a lot of IT organizations, as well as consulting organizations, come into an engagement with preconceived ideas and solutions, things that they're comfortable with, and try and fit that into a particular situation. And in both companies, we take a different approach. We come in and a lot of our questions aren't technical. They're what's important to the business? What are those golden threads that of value, the value stream of the business, so that we can understand from start to finish where are they providing value to their clients, understand the business, and then back into the technology. And we specifically don't partner exclusively with any vendors, so that we can do right by the client and take that particular situation that is very unique. Every company ends up being unique because of how they've grown organically, and apply the best technology to what the CEO and the company's vision is. I think we were pretty fortunate, at least it felt that way, that we had a really good team that not only are they talented, but they like working with each other. And we were able to just, go remote and still check in. Zoom was a godsend. I think I spend my life on Zoom. But other than that, it's been a fairly easy move.
But one of the other things I'm really proud about our team is really grouping together, and it's just sort of naturally happened of starting this thing, guerrilla mass movement, right? Like this guerrilla mass movement has been an offspring of COVID. I don't think our company 3GC in the 17 years that we've been around, we've definitely donated and participated in giving back to the community, but not in this fashion. This has been a crazy ride for everyone. And I think what ended up happening was we had probably the slowest Q2, Q3 in our history. And for most companies have been through that too. Q1 was great. We were in growth mode in Q1. We're back to growth mode in Q4. But Q2 and Q3 was the slowest months. And we had to make a conscious decision. Do we focus on marketing, or do we focus on giving back to the community? And literally for two quarters, we stopped pretty much all marketing efforts and just focused on giving back to the community. And this thing popped up. We gave birth to this. It's definitely evolved with our team. I see our team just working in such a collaborative fashion. Before it used to be a lot more silent by department and team. Now it's, a lot of the teams working closer together.